congratulations to Grambling State in their win against Prairie A&M, aka PV. I told everyone, if Grambling wins this game, this will cause an upward momentum for their team and a belief that they can win the SWAC West. And you never know, if they get momentum, maybe they can win the SWAC overall. The offense with Miles Crawley is fun to watch. And the scary part about it, the offense is scary. That it's still in the what you call the infant stages of learning the whole playbook. It's called the G5 offense, coached by Tony Hole. A lot of speed everywhere. The leading receiver, Lyndon Rash, who is becoming a matchup nightmare. He's unguardable, no matter what team it is. He was playing against LSU a couple weeks ago. He was doing his thing. He's doing his thing now in SWAC competition. And I'm sure the NFL scouts are going to look at his progression. Let's get the likes up, family. Let's get the likes up. Miles Crawley, the best decision he has ever done was to transfer out of Alabama State. Nothing against Alabama State, but him transferring to be coached by Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson has a history of coaching quarterbacks, and then being coached by Tony Hole is the great equalizer. It is the great equalizer. And I don't understand this whole offseason. We have not shown love to Grambling State. We've shown love to other teams, and then Grambling State was on the low, working hard, didn't care about the notoriety, didn't care about being one of the top preseason SWAC teams, and they surprised everyone with this new offense. And if the defense of Grambling State can be sound, in this game against PV, they were sound. They held PV to 20 points. The good thing about the Grambling State offense, they don't have to be the most juggernaut defense to win games. If they hold teams under 30 points, and that's if the offense is consistent, of course. If they hold team, meaning Grambling State, if they hold teams under 30 points, they should be fine throughout the rest of the season. Let's get 20 likes, family. Let's get 20 likes. Share this video on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel. Share this video everywhere. Instagram. I'm impressed with Grambling State. I'm impressed with the direction under Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson has his team focused. Throughout the weeks, when I'm watching Grambling State, I see a team that's hungry. I see a team that know they're not being talked about, but they want to make a point that they're here and that they're ready to win now. You could look at the players' face at Grambling. They don't want to just win the West. They want to win the whole damn thing. Not just the SWAC championship game. They want to win the Celebration Bowl. That's what they believe in. Now, going forward, Grambling State has to treat this one game at a time. One game at a time. And you never know. There are some teams in the SWAC that has improved. Look at Southern. Southern has improved in their matchup this coming week against FAMU. You're going to see a Southern team ready to play. FAMU, if you're listening, if you're a FAMU fan, that's going to be a 4-quarter game. And it's going to be your job to not make any dumb turnovers and to not allow teams to be complacent when they play against a defensive stalwart like Southern University. Southern has found their edge. And shout out to Chief Bartrand. Subscribe to his channel. I did an interview on his channel. Great brother right there. Show the brother love. But let me digress. Grambling State has a chance to write their own fortune, write their future on the direction of this program. We'll see what happens. Now to Jackson State. I said this on Twitter. Some of you have heard it. Jackson State having this bye week is the most refreshing thing for the fan base. I'm going to tell you why. When teams have 4 straight away games, 2 neutral field games and 2 away games, it's taxing on the players, it's taxing on the coaches. You can't fully focus on school. You can't fully adjust to the college life. You're on the road constantly. And then it's tough on the fans because the SWAC, I know what they're doing, the SWAC offices. They're trying to bank on the Jackson State fans always traveling and packing out stadiums at 60K instead of having a collective unit that all HBCUs should be supporting the schools like this. Now they're trying to have their fans try to put in some money for other venues to uplift them, and that's cool and dandy. But when is it going to be about the fans working so hard to go to these Jackson State games? 4 straight away games, not even FBS teams do that. Not even, and I'm not saying that Jackson State's like Alabama, but I'm giving you this example. Let's have 40 likes, family. Let's have 40 likes. If Alabama was questioned to, like, let's say someone like an AD at Alabama suggested to Nick Saban, oh, let's play 4 straight games. You know what he would tell them? That's not safe for our players. It's going to be taxing, and it's outright unfair to athletes. So going forward, I hope Jackson State can have a balanced schedule. The most is 2 away games, like 1 neutral site game, 1 away game, and then everything else. You can go with 2 straight home games, 1 away game, 2 straight home games, something like that. At least 5 home games. Again, I'm talking about fairness now. 5 home games is all I'm asking for the next Jackson State schedule. I don't care if it's Southern. I don't care if it's Grambling State, Texas Southern, PV, you name it, FAMU. No one deserves to play 4 straight away games. That's just my opinion. It's taxing, man. Got to go to Miami, then go to Atlanta, then go to Baton Rouge, then go to San Marcos, Texas, before you play a home game. I mean, that's a round trip. That's a round trip all over the place. So EA said that's on the AD. Ashley Robinson does a great job for for Jackson State. I think the schedule was made years before. This schedule was probably made in 2021, my guess. And the crazy part is when Jackson State had the 2021 year and the 2022 year, the schedule was balanced. It wasn't too many away games. It wasn't too many home games. It was just right. Matter of fact, they needed more home games the last 2 years, but it wasn't like this year. This year, it was crazy. The type of schedule that Jackson State had to deal with. Let me fix that real quick. But this bye week was needed for the players. I bet they're refreshed. You will start to see some cleaner football on the offensive end, especially on special teams. A lot of people do not understand. Jackson State was dealing with a bunch of injuries, kickers, punters being injured, interior D linemen, interior offensive line was being injured throughout a couple of weeks. And that's what happens when you travel a lot of games and you play a bunch of away games and then you play money games. That's what comes with it. So there wasn't time to recuperate. Shout out to my brother, Deputy Mario. And I'm trying to figure out which Jackson State game I need to be going to. Y'all let me know which Jackson State game I need to be going to. And if you're an HBCU fan, what game overall I need to go to. Let's get the likes up to 20 likes, 25 likes. Another thing to add with Grambling, because I mentioned them earlier, you see that they're running the ball with Chance Williams, Floyd Chark. Keep doing that, Grambling. Keep running the ball. They're averaging more than 5 yards per carry. No one in the SWAC can stop that running game. No one. So you need to run the ball, be creative on the run. Last season, I felt that Grambling State was just trying to get pass happy, try to get the QBs involved to get some rhythm. Now they're using common sense. If teams want to have a light box, run at them, punish them. And that's what they did to PV. They punished PV, where PV couldn't stop the run nor pass. But Miles Crawley, if he keeps this up, if he keeps this play up, I would not be surprised if he's SWAC Player of the Year. It's going to be between him and Irv Mulligan. Irv Mulligan is one of those ascending prospects. Him transferring to Jackson State has bode well. This could be a situation. You remember when James Houston transferred from Florida to go to Jackson State and it increases stock? If Irv Mulligan keeps running the way he's running, maybe some NFL teams will take notice of it and say, hey, I need to draft that guy. Because he's like the SWAC version of Marshawn Lynch. He's tough to take down, and if he has a crease, some space, he's going to take it to the house. He has been very consistent, meaning Irv Mulligan, this whole season. Deputy Mario says Alcorn game in Jackson is the game to come to. I didn't go to the Alcorn game. I went to the Southern game. I didn't realize the beef between Jackson State and Southern. Like, you're talking about two teams that could not stand each other. But I definitely need to go to the matchup when they play against Alcorn State, because that could be a matchup that can decide a lot. You never know. And FAMU has the talent to win the rest of their games. But is FAMU going to be consistent? The only team that can beat FAMU right now is FAMU. They even struggled against Mississippi Valley State. I don't know what it is, but FAMU is way too talented to be stumbling in the games. Shout out to my brother, my day one homie, Big Spell One. Been subscribed to his channel before it was popular. Salute to you. He says, keep up the good fight with HBCUs. You're one of the ones giving real coverage. And that's the most important part. We gotta be consistent on bringing up a lot of HBCU teams and in the message, which is to level the playing field. So I don't need to be talking about other teams that are not HBCU. Unless it's a favorite player of mine that's doing great things, I may make a video of that. But besides that, I'm keeping it consistent. That's what I'm doing. Everybody got their styles. I got my own style, and I prefer it this way. Besides, nobody wants to talk about hearsay. Nobody wants to talk about drama. When I'm talking about football, and for those who are listening, y'all can agree to that. I know most of y'all agree with this part. When you're just talking about football, the scheme of it all, the effects of teams winning and losing, that's fun. Shout out to brother Bakari. He says, peace and black power. Peace to you, my brother. RawTruth, as always. Deputy Mario says Valley should have beaten FAMU. Valley, man, it looked like Valley was going to upset them. And when you play at Valley, you play in that field. Something about that field in Valley. The grass, man. The grass is so old school. When you put your cleat on the ground, it's just scuffing up mud and grass. John Horst says G-Man will win the SWAC West. That would be great for the SWAC financially, and it just brings a better product. If it's FAMU, if FAMU wins all their games, and you have FAMU in Grambling, that's a better product. For TV sponsors, when you have blue bloods playing against each other, that's a great thing for your conference. Nobody wants to talk about that, but that's the truth. If it was Jackson State, let's say if FAMU doesn't take care of their business and it's Jackson State versus Grambling State, hey, that's a moneymaker. If it's anybody, if you have two blue bloods, that's what you get. John, read that. EA says, thanks, Jackson, for making the Rattlers feel at home over the weekend. Zoe, thanks for putting the flags. And shout out to Zoe, man. And shout out to Ken Clark. Ken Clark and Zoe, what they're doing, donating to the university, spreading awareness about Jackson State, doing some creative things. That's what you're supposed to do with these platforms. And those brothers do an amazing job. So shout out to Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. Shout out to Ken Clark, Zoe, and the brothers out there, TD, all of them, Rochelle, all of them. They're doing their thing. They're really doing their thing. They're stand-up brothers. The last time when I was in Jackson, they showed so much love. Places to go, people to meet. They were very welcoming. They're what's right about YouTube. That platform, that channel, and they keep it all about HBCUs. They keep it all about Jackson State because they want that focus on the main thing and not everything else. John Horst says, our D2 HBCU teams have been making noise this season. Yeah, that's another thing. If there's some way to, and it's going to take everyone in the HBCU community to highlight that, not just one person. Because the D2 HBCUs have been exceeding expectations. But for some reason, they don't get the coverage like everybody else. They could beat certain FCS teams. They're winners, like St. Benedict's. St. Benedict's is a freaking juggernaut. But barely people talk about them. I know that Tomorrow Leader Sports Network will make videos and a couple of few, but we got to start doing that. Show love to all. Chief Bartran says, I love what Ken and Zoe are doing. Yes, stand up brothers. Brothers of positivity, brothers of action. They not only they talk it, but they do it. And I always have respect for people like that. Deputy Mark says, you might want to book your room at the West End in Jackson for the Alcorn game before it gets too late. Yeah, I almost got, man, if I remember when I booked the room at the West End, it was almost the last minute. And you told me, Deputy Mark, you was like, man, you better make it quick for that Southern game. You was right. I called the West End, they said, man, it was almost sold out. They had 2 rooms left. John Horst says, G-Man and FAMU would be a great moneymaker for the SWAC. Seven Hills and Tallahassee, yeah, it would be a moneymaker. And again, back to FAMU. If FAMU wins the East, I would be happy for the program. Again, I'm not a hater of anybody. And I respect FAMU. I respect Willie Simmons. There's been a lot of people not believing in Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons is one of the best coaches out of all HBCUs. He's one of the best coaches in the FCS. Some things have not gone their way, but a lot of people punish them or threw jabs at them because they lost to Jackson State. Who else is beating Jackson State? Deputy Marr says, you didn't have an umbrella when they came. That was the worst mistake I made, man, was not having an umbrella. I didn't expect Jackson, Mississippi to have all that rain when the last time I came. Let's get it to 40 likes, family. Let's get it to 40 likes. This has been a great discussion. This has been a great discussion. Watch what I tell you. After the bye week, when Jackson State is well rested, they're going to put up a lot of yards. Because when we watched them against Texas State, and you saw what Texas State did against Southern Miss, I told you that offense was lethal. Nobody wanted to listen because they wanted to see Jackson State lose. But if you take the emotion out of it and the softness of it, Texas State is scoring on everybody. I told y'all that. Nobody wanted to listen. The only thing I got mad with Jackson State was special teams and lack of tackling. Because I knew that Texas State was going to score yards. Man, they embarrassed Southern Miss. The only difference between the Southern Miss game in the third or fourth quarter, they didn't run up the score. Against Jackson State, they decided to run up the score. But they were beating, in halftime, they were beating Southern Miss 41-10. Jackson State against Texas State. At one point, it was a 28-21 game, and then they lost the lead. But Jackson State scored 34 total points against Texas State. The only reason why Jackson State didn't put 50 in that game, during the third and fourth quarter, they wanted to play the young guys. They didn't want any players getting injured. That's what happens when you play money games. You're playing against a roster that has 85 to 100 scholarships compared to your 65, and that's something that FCS needs to rectify. But let me digress. Brother Bakar says, we need to support institutions, period. Our institute. Let me read that again. He says, we need to support our institutions, period. Trey Oliver in North Carolina Central deserves our respect and support. I 1,000% agree. Shout out to North Carolina Central. They defeated Campbell. That should be talked about. That was a damn good win. And as you see, right now, I believe that North Carolina Central is ranked number 12 in the country. I don't care if they got destroyed by UCLA. UCLA is going to do that to anybody in the FCS. What Trey Oliver is doing, Trey Oliver could have left North Carolina Central after winning the Celebration Bowl against Jackson State. And he may do that. You never know. But one thing I respect about Trey Oliver, he has not led anyone on. He has been 100% authentic, and he's a winner. So if he does leave, it's going to be on good terms. It's just like Willie Simmons. If Willie Simmons leaves and goes to the Power Five, nobody's going to say he's this, he's a bad person, none of that. Because it's all about your message, and it's all about consistency. If you do things in a consistent manner, people will support your decisions. And that's just real talk. That's no hearsay. That's none of that. That's just how you leave in a great fashion. John Horst says, we definitely need to have HBC video game ASAP. Sure, I wish it was on the new NCAA game. They would make a lot of money. I'll tell you, the black community, if the NCAA football game adds HBCUs and let's say FCS, so, in PC terms, if they add HBCUs, FCS football within that game, our people will buy that game in droves. Even if they don't play video games, they'll buy it. Deputy Morrow says, North Carolina Central FAMU Celebration Bowl, if FAMU handles their business. I would say Morgan State, but Morgan State doesn't have an offense, and I feel bad for Morgan State. That defense is playing hard. That defense is causing turnovers. That's the best defense in the FCS, but the offense is so bad. The offense caused so many turnovers. They turn over the ball like 90 going north, putting up defense in horrible positions. I kid you not, Morgan State would probably be 4-1 right now if it wasn't for that horrible, shitty offense they got. They're better off running the triple option than the offense they have right now. But you never know. What if Grambling win all their games and catches momentum? With that offense, they could do a lot of things. And let's say they play against FAMU and beat FAMU, which would be a great thing for them. It would not surprise me if you see Grambling State versus North Carolina Central in the Celebration Bowl. And one thing about Grambling, like it or not, they don't lose Celebration Bowls. For some reason, when they get in there, they don't lose it. Now, they had some great teams. Jackson State could have been 2-0 in the Celebration Bowl, but I don't blame that on the players. Let's be honest, they got outcoached. That's nothing against the past coach, nothing against Dion. I'll root for all brothers to do well. But let's be real, family. The reason why Jackson State lost those Celebration Bowls, bad coaching, and if something happened, like the announcement that he chose a different team. If you're a coach, you have every right to choose whatever team you want to play for. But the timing of it all, before that North Carolina Central game, I was worried. That was the first time in 2022 I was worried about Jackson State. I said to myself, are they even going to be focused to win this game? I was talking to so many people, calling everybody up to see how the energy of the team is. It was a weird time, family. Deputy Morrow says, hold up. They attempt to add HBCUs in the new NCA, but I think the schools dropped the ball on this one. They certainly did. I don't mean to create a team neither. I mean, Google and fine. Here's the thing, if the new NCA can let you create teams on the site without going to like, Google or a web search, if you could do it on the game, I'm cool with that. I would create multiple HBCUs if they do that. Betty M. Sullivan says, Willie Simmons will not go Power 5. FAMU is really not that good. They lack consistency. FAMU is a great team. They just need to be consistent. Let's not take away the talent of FAMU. They're a great team. They just need to be more consistent and use the talent that they got. But that's all I wanted to say, family. This has been a great stream. Shout out to Grambling State for winning their first game. Uh, the first, I believe, SWAC West game, correct me if I'm wrong, against PV. Now they're leading the division. They have the driver's seat. So Grambling State, if you're listening to this video, the players, if you're listening, handle business and beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you will be in the Celebration Bowl. You beat PV. Beating PV gave you an opportunity to control your own destiny. Will you do it? We'll see what happens. But to my HBCU family, let's keep supporting HBCUs. Let's be consistent. Let's uplift our brand, quote unquote, our brand, and focus on that. Don't be focusing on everything else that doesn't even matter. Who left, what somebody said, and that's a damn distraction. Let's focus on the good it has here, and that should matter. And lastly, I may make a video on it. Shout out to all the black coaches who are coaching all over the world, no matter if it's D1, D2, FCS. If you look at the FBS, you got James Franklin, you got the coach from Notre Dame. I don't even like Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman. James Franklin's undefeated. The brother from Loxley, Coach Loxley of Maryland, is undefeated. A lot of black coaches are winning right now. You got the coach at Marshall, got a great team. So it's not just Coach Prime. There's a lot of great black coaches out here, and that needs to be celebrated. We got to do a better job not idol worshiping and giving credit to those who are succeeding. I'm not saying go hate on coaches and none of that, but we got to salute to those brothers for doing the damn job. Again, all I ask for is consistency. Let's be consistent, family. So peace and blessings, peace and love. You have a good day.